This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on a Tuesday? It's The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. Hope you and yours are having a great day. You're watching us on the Bama Central YouTube channel, on the Bama Central Facebook page. You're listening to us on Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can find The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. I have a lot of fun today talking about Alabama football. We just walked off the practice field for the fourth time during fall camp. We'll get one more practice viewing next week, next Monday, and then it will be all behind closed doors for the rest of fall camp. So nice to be in the facility today. We're going to talk about what I saw. We're hanging out with our friend Theo Fernandez. Make sure you follow him at Theo Fernandez _ on the Twitter machine. You can leave us a voicemail if you want to be a part of the program. We're going to start the show with the voicemail. You can call us at 205-462-7340, extension 800 if you want to be a part of the program. Of course, you already know we're brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing and by Derek Daniel State Farm Insurance. Check out Purple Turtle Roofing at roofturtle.com and call Derek Daniel for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Theo, good morning. I've missed you. I guess I'll see you soon. Friday's coming. How we doing, sir? You looking good? You ready for a big day?
I'm ready for a big day, and yes, Friday, back in person in Tuscaloosa. Excited, been too long, but now I'm doing well, unwinding still. Good.
Absolutely good. I hope that you are enjoying time with your parents and with your family, and getting out on the basketball court, on the beaches, and just kind of unwinding for another 3 or 4 days until you come to Tuscaloosa. Let's start with the voicemail line because we got a call, and it is about defense, and I did watch defense today, so I think it will probably tie in with our caller. I believe Hunter Brantley is calling to talk about Yhonzae Pierre, but I didn't really read the whole transcript last night, so I'm not real sure. Let's go ahead and play the voicemail. You can call 205-462-7340, extension 800.
So Grubb said yesterday that neither quarterback has taken a step ahead of the other one. And I was a little bit surprised by that answer. I figured he would say, yeah, Keelan's played better or Alston's played better or one of them looked better than the other. But nope. He said that it's a pretty even quarterback battle at this point. I know they've done some 7-on-7 stuff, but, I mean, how much can you really tell when you're doing 7-on-7 stuff? I think we'll know more, obviously, when we start doing scrimmages, when they start hitting for real and it's live and you can't be protected by, as he would call it, fiction books. When you get the pads on, it's nonfiction. That was a great analogy by him the other day. But, yeah, he said neither one of them has really separated themselves. Kind of slightly surprised, but we'll know more in the coming weeks, I'm sure of it. What do we think the expectations are moving right along? What are the expectations for Yhonzae Pierre this year? Are we thinking All-American? Are we thinking SEC Defensive Player of the Year? Are we thinking solid edge rusher? Are we thinking, first-round draft pick? What are the expectations going to be for Yhonzae Pierre this year? I'm curious to know what y'all think about that. I think that he can be in the running for SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I think that he is poised for a big season. He had a great end of the year last year, and I think he can build off that. I think he's, as Kane Womack said, mass kicks ass. He's got mass, and he's fast. So fast, speed, quick, mass, kicks ass. I think he just kicks ass in general. So, we'll see what happens this year, but I'm kind of high on Yhonzae Pierre to possibly win SEC Defensive Player of the Year, make all-conference first team, maybe even be an All-American.
There we go. That's Hunter Brantley on the voicemail machine. Excuse me, I was on a different tab and looking up some Yhonzae Pierre stuff. What are the expectations for Yhonzae Pierre? I think the expectations are through the roof, are as high as they really could be for any edge rusher. Yhonzae Pierre with 8 sacks last season. He looked good in the 20 minutes that we just got to see, switching to number 0. Theo, are we expecting a Will Anderson, a Dallas Turner type of impact from Yhonzae Pierre this season after starting the second half of the year and coming back and, taking on the moniker of leader of the defense outside of Bray Hubbard? Like, what is the proper expectation for Yhonzae Pierre? Because I'm expecting a first-round draft pick. Maybe SEC Defensive Player of the Year is too high, Hunter Brantley, but I guess it is possible. What do you think the proper expectation for Yhonzae is in 2026?
Yeah, Hunter sets a very high bar for him, but I think the whole fan base has set an extremely high bar for Yhonzae Pierre to clear. And I do think it's warranted. I mean, this guy had the pedigree coming out of high school, spent the time developing. And then, I mean, the way he broke out, the way that we saw Yhonzae Pierre come into his own down the stretch, I think it would be almost disrespectful to sit here and expect anything less than dominance from him on the football field, because everything in his career up to this point suggests that, yes, this is where he breaks through and is a consistent game-wrecking piece for Alabama. Looking at the Alabama single-season sack leader is always an interesting list to go to. Obviously, Derek Thomas. First of all, just is eye-popping. This man sacked quarterbacks 27 times in one season. Every time I see that, Joe, I am just absolutely astounded, blown away.
In an era where they're not throwing the football that nearly to the percentage that they're throwing now. Continue.
Anyway, yeah, he is superhuman. But you have, after Derek Thomas in the 1 and 2 spot, you have Will Anderson, 17.5 sacks, 2021, number 3. And then we move into the numbers that seem kind of feasible. Jonathan Allen, 12. Manuel King, 11. And you have, there have been 10 seasons from Alabama players, I believe, of 10 or more sacks. Is double-digit sacks a good goal to set for Yhonzae Pierre? Because he picked up 8 without even playing the whole season last year. It almost feels like to me, if Yhonzae Pierre stays healthy, plays the whole season, 10 sacks should be a foregone conclusion, right?
Yeah, he didn't jump right onto the field like Will Anderson did as a 5-star prospect, but we got to remember that Yhonzae was a 5-star player out of Eufaula. I do think double digits is not crazy. It's very reasonable, especially considering what he did last year. The 8 sacks in obviously 15 games, but he didn't start all 15 games. I think it was 4 or 5 games into the season where he first started to start after Quay Russaw got hurt. And so I expect that Yhonzae will play and start all 12 regular season games and then at least one postseason game, be it a bowl game or a playoff or whatnot. So you're looking at a 13-game minimum, and you're probably looking at more realistically 14 games if I had to be if I'm being honest with myself. I think you're looking at 14 or 15 games, and I think it's very, very reasonable to expect Yhonzae Pierre to get to at least 10 sacks. For me, I'm looking for Yhonzae to get to be threatening for 2 sacks a game. I think 1 is a baseline. I mean, obviously you're not going to get 1 sack in every game. It's just not the way that football works. And he'll have probably a game where he gets 2 or 3 or maybe even 4. That'd be wild. But I do expect it to average out to at least 1 per game. And I think that there will be situations where he's going to be able to take advantage of some tackles. Let me turn your attention to the Athletic real quick, Theo. In the springtime, we really love Dane Brugler. I don't know if Hunter Brantley is psychic or if this just lined up, but our man Dane Brugler this morning put out his top edge rushers for the 2027 draft. So this morning, 5 a.m. So I'm like, wow, what coincidence. Obviously, Dylan Stewart, number 1 with South Carolina. Colin Simmons, number 2 with Texas. But here he is, number 3 edge rusher on the list, Yhonzae Pierre. Best trait, he says, pass rush energy. Pierre pursues the football with crimson-colored Red Bull coursing through his veins. What a sentence. Well done. He is quick off the ball as a pass rusher to create downhill momentum, which allows him to convert his speed to power and deconstruct blocks like a jackhammer. His violence also helps him set physical edges in the run game. Must improve some refinement. Pierre's energy is an unquestioned strength. But complementing his relentless play style with an added discipline would increase his impact. Pierre occasionally puts himself in compromising positions, which can get him washed or walled off, especially versus angle blocks or double teams. He has several missed tackles on his 2025 tape. Essentially, he thinks that he can have a good season, and he says, instead, he returned to Tuscaloosa for his 4th season and a chance to cement his status as a top 20 prospect.
First of all, Stewart and Simmons are just absolutely unreal prospects, unreal players, right? And you likely know this if you've watched, right? They're names that I think just about every fan knows. So the fact that Yhonzae Pierre is here, right, 1/2 step behind those two. Outstanding place to start your season. I look at Yhonzae Pierre, right? And a guy, number 3, we just talked about the ranking. It's not that hard to be a first-round draft pick as an edge rusher. And I say that in the sense that teams are looking for an excuse to take somebody who can mess up NFL offenses, right? It is such the way a premium has been placed on this position means that, Joe, we just talked about 10 sacks. 10 sacks likely gets you drafted in the first round. So I think I look at, double-digit sacks and first-round draft pick. It's kind of going almost hand in hand, right? You end up around that range, first-round pick, top 20. It should almost be a foregone conclusion. I guess an interesting thing to think about now is, is there a better measure than double-digit sacks? How do we value Yhonzae Pierre? How do we say, yes, this was a successful season for this guy? Do we look into how, what is Justin Hill able to do? How many double teams is he able to eat? Or is it just pure go out there and kill the quarterback? Like, what do you think, Joe?
To me, it's just about pure go out there and kill the quarterback. Do we have off the top of the head Will Anderson's pressures from 2021? It wasn't that was his last year, 2021. QB pressures 2021 because he was all over the place. 81 total pressures in 2021. Was it 2022? The 2022 was his last season. Yes. He had 60 quarterback pressures in 2022. So while you look at the sack numbers and you're like, yeah, that's what you want. I mean, it doesn't count unless you get the quarterback on the ground. But really, from an edge rusher, it's not always about the sacks. It's not always about the sacks. It's about the impact against. You talk about destroying an NFL offense. It's about impact. Are you commanding a double team? Are you pressuring the quarterback? Are you having to be a player that the offense has to game plan for? Has to know, where is number 0? This time he's on the right. The next time he's on the left. Whatever the case may be, you're going to have to be aware of him. And so, what's the definition of success for Yhonzae Pierre? I hate to take us this way, Theo, but you know the old adage with the Supreme Court and pornography. You know it when you see it, right? And so, I think it's the same thing with Yhonzae Pierre. I mean, of course, a statistical number you could say, okay, plus nine sack minimum for a statistical number. Just looking at his counterparts, Dylan Stewart last year had 4.5 sacks in 11 games, only 6.5 sacks as a true freshman. Great true freshman season, but not near the sack production yet that Yhonzae has had. Colin Simmons, 9 sacks as a true freshman and 12 sacks last season. So you're not real, the range is not that wide for Yhonzae. Are you going to get more than 12 sacks? I mean, if you do, then that's obviously a successful season. Are you going to be at the 6 sack mark? Well, did you pressure the quarterback a lot of other times to, okay, hurry the ball out, or, hit the quarterback after, make him feel you and impact the game long-term all the way through all 4 quarters? I think that Yhonzae doesn't necessarily have to have 10 sacks to be successful this year, but you're going to have to be impactful when you're out there on the field. I think that Justin Hill is going to help him a lot, but you're going to get into third down situations where I think the traditional bandit comes off the field and Yhonzae plays bandit. You get Justin Hill playing wolf. Instead of Devin Tompkins playing bandit, he probably kicks inside to one of the defensive line spots with London Simmons, and now you're rushing the passer with 4 guys I think you feel pretty decent about. And so to me, it's about, is Yhonzae Pierre being impactful when he's out there? You can't disappear for stretches at a time. I think he struggled with that a little bit last year. Obviously had some high impact plays, but I think he had a couple of moments where, well, you haven't seen Yhonzae make a play yet. You haven't seen Yhonzae make make an impact yet. So really it's about consistency through the 4 quarters and affecting the quarterback rather than sacking the quarterback for me.
I agree. I think that was very, very well said on Yhonzae. He should be basically the most visible player on this defense, right? And we've talked so much about this incredible special secondary that I think we all think will be one of the best in the nation. I don't think that's a stretch at all. Can only do so much if you're not getting to the quarterback, and that is all led by Yhonzae Pierre. I mean, a part of me sometimes will look at this and say, are we putting too much on Yhonzae? Are we looking too much in? Because at the end of the day, I mean, we didn't know what his production last season was going to be. We knew the talent was there. Frusaw never goes down. If Frusaw isn't, hurt as much as he was, it doesn't even, who knows how much Yhonzae gets onto the field, right?
He hasn't had really the 5-star trajectory path that you would kind of expect, I would think.
Not at all. No, yeah.
But he could end in that spot. I mean, he could end in that spot. Speaking of somebody who ended in a great spot, it took Quentin Williams how many years to get on the field? And just thinking about Quentin Williams in his last year, how dominant he was. Obviously a way different position, but up front on the defensive line. And Quentin Williams got himself paid yesterday. Congratulations for that. Dallas Cowboys locking him up for a long-term deal, over $100 million. Congratulations. But Yhonzae, he hasn't necessarily been like Will Anderson after that freshman year. The NFL scouts were like, can you come out right now? Can we draft you right now? We want to draft. And so for and almost the same for Dallas Turner. Not necessarily the same for Chris Braswell, but he was in that same group. I think the NFL scouts and the powers that be at the next level are wanting to see one more good. Oh, we like what you saw last year. You got a lot of good traits, but I think they want to see it over the course of a season. Can you be a disruptor the entire season for Alabama?
All right, Joe, fast forward 5 months. You have the crystal ball. Are you satisfied with Yhonzae's production at the end of this season? You think the season ends and we're saying, wow, yeah, Yhonzae joins the list of first-round edges. He was impactful. He messed up opposing teams. How close to that standard do you think he lands this year?
Well, Will got drafted 3rd, right? It was Bryce, CJ, then Will, right? And Will was absolutely an animal, a monster. Obviously, Derek Thomas,
standard.
Yeah, Derek Thomas before my time, but those 2 guys are the two, 1A and 1B, right? I don't think that Yhonzae's going to meet a top 10 selection type of productivity. I think that he is going to still be a first-round draft pick. I do think that, and I think that you will probably see pretty similar pass rushing production. I think you're going to get 7 to 11 sacks. is kind of where I'm at with him. 7 to 11 sacks. But I think Yhonzae will acquit himself better in the running game. I just wonder if Dylan Stewart and Colin Simmons are going to outshine him. And then you look at some of these other edge rushers that are in the class. I think that Mateo Uiagalelei is going to be really, really popular. Damon Wilson out of Miami by way of Missouri and Georgia is going to be really, really popular. Those two guys are going to command a lot of attention. Prince Umanmelian, oh my gosh, I always mess up his name, from LSU and Ole Miss, I think is also going to have a really good season. So I think that those guys are going to excite the NFL draft prospects more. But I think we'll end this season being like, okay, Yhonzae was good, maybe not all-time great. I mean, come on, that's a high bar, but good, but definitely a good player and a good season. We'll put him at 23, 24 in the draft next spring.
Yeah, that's fair. And we also got to remember, I mean, you go back to 2024, not many expected Latu from UCLA to go above Dallas Turner, right? There's always so much, teams have their own views on certain players, all that. With that being said, I want to play one little final game, Joe. It's one of my favorite games to play.
Let's do it.
It's so random. I think we have 2 first-round picks on this defense in Yhonzae and Xavier. Who's drafted first?
I saw a first-round draft mock this morning that did not have either in them. And I thought, really? Trash. You'd automatically disregard. They had the Bears taking Ellis Robinson about 16 or 17 from Georgia. And look, if the Bears are taking Ellis Robinson at 15, 16, 17, then bleep it. Take Xavier Brown. Yeah, please. Right. I mean, please. And so, no, who goes first? Oh, man, 2 premium positions. 2 premium positions, but Xavier has more tape and Xavier has more production under his belt. And I think analytically, the NFL will tell you that pass coverage is more important than pass rush. I learned that during the Khalil Mack days of the Bears, looking at the analytics. And so, yeah, I'm going to go Xavier Brown gets drafted before Yhonzae Pierre.
I'll back you up on that, but it'll be fun to go back to that in April as we prepare for the NFL draft, presumably.
Absolutely. All right, so let's pivot ourselves to what we saw today. We were out there again, 15 minutes or so, 3 periods, and I was assigned defense. I was really assigned defensive backs, but really the defense was right in front of me. Defensive backs to my right, linebackers right to my middle, and defensive line to my left. Theo, the 3 periods that we saw, I think, can be defined in 2 words: block destruction. It was the big theme of the time while we were out there. Obviously, we're only out there for 15 minutes, so they can focus on other things when we're gone or before we arrive. But while we were there, it was the corners and edge players and the corners and Huskies, were practicing basically destroying blocks on the edge. Can you take on a blocker in the apex? Oh, here comes another blocker. You've got to get off, take on the second blocker, and hold the edge for, to slow down a speed sweep, to slow down jet sweep, to slow down all kinds of wide action stretch kind of concepts. So the corners were getting after it. Mo Linguist was really, really encouraging these guys to play physical. And I turned my attention to right in the middle, and it's the inside backers. And they are smashing this sled, coming off, peeling off, and simulating a tackle. And they were smashing this sled. And it was rah, 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 rah. Obviously, everybody getting excited, smashing this sled and coming off to make a tackle. And then the edge rushers that were right in front of us as well are collapsing the line, closing down the line of scrimmage, and chasing down a play from the backside, simulating, really squeezing the line of scrimmage to eliminate cutback lanes. It was a big-time theme today, block destruction.
The more violent this unit looks, the happier I am, Joe. That will ring true basically as long as football is being played. And this group, I feel like violence has been embraced. Not that it isn't in the past, but it really has felt like a point of emphasis, especially in the spring. It's just these players with violence before A-Day, after A-Day, carrying over. And I don't know exactly what to make of that there, Joe, but seems productive.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Theo, defensively, have we been underrating this defense? Like, is this defense going to be? Obviously, that's a silly question. I see your eye roll, and rightfully so. I mean, we've been talking about best defense in the country, top secondary ever, that kind of thing. But I wonder how, are they going to be good enough to support an offense that may or may not be clicking right off the bat? Are they going to be good enough to support an offense that runs into a really elite defense? Like, look, Alabama ran into an elite defense against Georgia and against Indiana at the end of the year last year. Two elite defenses, and the offense really, really struggled to move the football. Now, against Georgia, the defense got their backs put against the wall like 3 times. Blocked punt, interception, and went for it on 4th down in your own end. And so, there's a little bit of, okay, what do you want to do here? Try not to give up a touchdown. Well, 5 yards later, you've given up a touchdown. Tough luck. But Indiana didn't really take advantage of that many short fields. I mean, obviously, they had the short field towards the end of the half where Alabama went for it on 4th down and then was blown up, and Indiana had. But essentially, the defense didn't. I don't know. I don't really feel like the defense, kept you in the games against some elite offenses last year, some good offenses last year. Do you? I'm spitballing right here. I'm spitballing, so I haven't really thought this all the way through.
Went into Athens, and
was Georgia? Was that an elite offense?
You didn't score a single point in the second half, and your defense certainly took care of business.
Fair,
but I to an extent, kind of.
I mean, Missouri was inept. Missouri was inept, and Ty Simpson gave him a touchdown fumble on his own 5-yard line or whatnot. Missouri was inept. LSU's offense was inept. Tennessee's offense was not that strong. I mean,
that Tennessee game, though, it felt over after the pick 6.
True. Yes. I mean, yeah. The defense shut that down. That's right. So, I guess the real question I'm trying to get at is, if the offense struggles, if the offensive line takes a few games, if you're still in a quarterback competition, if the offense is struggling, will the defense be able to shut out South Carolina or hold South Carolina under 10 points? They couldn't last year. Will the defense be able to make sure that Ashton Daniels doesn't beat you at home? I think that's possible. I do think that's possible. I think Ashton Daniels is a walking turnover waiting to happen. Is the defense good enough to – look, if Georgia can run the football the way they did at the end of the season and Gunnar Stockton has improved, I mean, is the defense going to be good enough to go down to LSU and I think they're really good. There's a part of me that thinks the defense, you're not going to get any yard. How do you attack this defense? You can't do anything with this defense. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, they're more violent. Improvement stopping the run. Improvement in pass rush. The secondary cover is so good. There's a part of me that really does think, this defense could be, flirting with 2016. Could be flirting with with some of those great Coach Saban defenses of 2009. You could be flirting with those groups of 2012. But then there's some Joe, slow down. Is that too much? Is that too I'm trying to find the right balance. Am I being too contrarian saying, they'll be good, but let's slow down on great? I'm trying. Where do we land with this Womack defense with all this experience? Now we've espoused how much bigger and how much stronger everybody is up front. The inside linebackers aren't concerning me near as much after watching a couple of practices. They're flying around. So have we been underselling the defense?
All right. I'm in love with the secondary. I'm absolutely all in. Yhonzae Pierre, I think he will come pretty close to a lot of the stuff we discussed with him. There's so much stuff that needs to come together, Joe, and there's so much uncertainty that we need to see land in a certain way. And I struggle with the idea, for example, we can use Devin Tompkins and Terrence Green, right? These two guys who I look and I see nice things in them as players. They've got to really plug in pretty seamlessly for this thing to work, right? And you look at the inside linebackers, I have no doubt that there's talent in the room. You need two of those guys outside of Woodson to become guys that you can give a lion's share of the snaps. And is there talent? Yes. Will two of those guys emerge? Not necessarily. How high can they climb this year? We don't know. So I see a world where it works out. But I absolutely see the world and probably lean towards the world where a lot of stuff does come together nicely and there are a lot of strengths on the unit, but it doesn't put it all together. And I struggle to see Alabama, for example, taking this game against Georgia, right? Continuing your success against Kirby and, Alabama's back. All the great storylines for Alabama fans that they would have if you win this game. I don't see it happening unless Keelan Russell in the offense comes out to play. I don't see the defense carrying the Tide through that kind of game. Now, sure, you can say, I don't know, Texas A&M kind of has the feel of like a 13-10 game or something. You can see that. But is Texas A&M an elite offense? Probably not.
I keep thinking about that Texas A&M playoff game and how the two defenses, A&M and Miami, basically just went back and forth. Obviously, the offenses had their struggles, but those defenses were real units out there. Is Alabama fielding a unit that will look like a Texas A&M or Miami last year that will say, hey, even if we can't move the football, you aren't moving the football, and so it might be 3-0.
I'm not confident enough in the defense to get into that camp right now, Joe.
Okay. All right. That's kind of what I'm wondering. Like, because I'm with you. I think the defense is going to be really good, really talented. And I think there is a world where they gel and they become a unit like that Miami or Texas A&M defense that can basically just carry you through the whole season. Offense only needs 2 drives. That's all they've got in them. That's all they need. It's fine. So I think there's a world where they put all that together. Just trying to find the right landing spot for how we feel about this defense walking into the year is all.
I feel pretty similar about this defense than I do last season's. I know you have a lot of new pieces, obviously. You have a secondary that's taken presumably a step forward. But how much different is it going to be? How much different can it realistically be? And look, you just had such a, like, the jump on this team is going to be on the offensive side of the ball. It's going to be, if it happens, by virtue of not fielding a one-dimensional offense. It's going to come. I can't believe we somehow have come back to the offensive line on a fully defensive episode. There is no position group more important than the offensive line. I don't see the defense taking enough of a jump where we're able to ignore the far more important storyline on the other side of the ball, Joe. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm absolutely there with you as well there. Just wanted to focus on the defense, but I'm with you because, like, I think the defense, whatever range you put them in, from A+, if you want to put them there, if you want to put them at 2016, if you want to put them like that, okay. If you want to put them at the top there, I think you could sell that. I think you could sell all the way to a B+, A-, A+, right? So the defense has a range, but I'm with you. Like, that range doesn't necessarily move the needle for me for the whole team, for the whole program to say, oh, yeah, national champions, 15-0, whatever, 17-0, national champions. It's happening because of the question marks on the offensive line.
And look, I think B+ is fair, and I think you could take that half step up to an A-, right? How much does that move the needle? You have, in a world where Alabama really, really just exceeds expectations across the board, we're not sitting here saying, oh, Alabama's defense was the reason this happened. You're saying Alabama's defense was a very good unit, and this was a complete football team that excelled on both sides of the ball and was good enough to make things happen.
All right, Theo, let's have a little short show meeting before we close out of here.
All right.
Thursday is the first scrimmage of the day. Is the first scrimmage of fall camp, and it happens at 10 a.m., right? You're flying on Thursday. No problem. You got to get back safe. We want you back safe. What do you think about tomorrow's episode? So tomorrow we don't have practice viewing, and let me click on this. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, we don't have any sort of media at all. What if tomorrow's program, we run at close to normal time, 8, 9 o'clock, close to normal time, and we focus it on Thursday's scrimmage, right? On what we want to see, what we want to be hearing. We'll take Thursday off, and we'll make Friday all about rumors and scuttlebutt from what we heard from the scrimmage. Because we're not allowed to at the scrimmage. We have Coach DeBoer. He's going to give a press conference at 11 o'clock right there at the stadium. So he's going to talk about what happened. But it's going to be, hey, Coach, tell us what happened. And he's going to tell us about what he wants us to know. So Friday we can react to Coach DeBoer's comments from the scrimmage, and then we can react to all the rumors and things that come out that will come out of the scrimmage. We'll take Thursday off so you can fly, and then we can kind of load up for Friday.
Love it.
All right. So that's what we're going to do. We will have a show tomorrow to be closer to the normal time because there's no practice viewing, and we'll talk about what we want to hear, what we want to see, what we want the rumors to be from Thursday's scrimmage. If you want to be involved in that, I would love it. What do you think is going to happen in Thursday's scrimmage? What do you want to be hearing from all the birdies? You can leave us a voicemail at 205-462-7340, extension 800. Leave us a comment at Joe Gaither 6, at Theo Fernandez _. If you want to be one of my birdies, you can always DM me, and I won't be revealing you at all because that's not what we do here. I would love to hear what you have to say. If you're going to the scrimmage, if you're friends and family with some of the players, I'd love to take your perspective and hear your perspective on what actually happens on Thursday. I'll have a few birdies, but we'd love more. Any more perspectives we can get is good. Theo, anything else you got for the people? I'm going to go talk to Kane Womack, and I'm going to go ask him about Luke Metz playing that second linebacker role, being the stinger this year.
Excellent. Excited to hear the report on that. And excited. It's going to feel like a football Friday before the first game of the season tomorrow. So that'll be fun.
Absolutely. So that'll be our plan, and we'll talk to you right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither 6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.